Peace, peace. How's my sound out there? It's been a minute. Is my sound sounding good out there? Okay, we can't be just okay. All right, all right. One second. Let me get these links sent out. All right. Oh, you said it's a little grainy. Hmm. How everybody doing? All right. So got a little different setup for y'all tonight. I tried to do this show um like a couple weeks ago, almost a couple weeks ago, and YouTube just gave me headaches about it. So I'm gonna go through the same thing again, over the same thing again. We're gonna be a little bit more interactive this time. So got 4 topics I want to cover. So let's see. Mm-mm. All right, so Peace, Richie Luxury, Pharaoh De Niro, Carlton Way One. Is it Arson? Arceon? Keep going down. Sim, peace. Goldie, what's up? Long time no see. Blunder Bliss, Brian Love, Gaza. Wes Olson, how you doing? Derek Birch, T. Clark, Wes, peace. Uh, Kendrell Strahan, peace. Derek, all right, I'll holler at you. Yeah, I'm saying I appreciate that. New graphics, fresh look. Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to always improve, get better. So I guess we can go ahead and jump right into this thing. All right. So as y'all know, today's topics we're gonna talk about. We had to talk about the Little Nike X, aka Little Nas X. We gotta talk about AOC and the reparation situation. Followed up by these activists, aka Ractivists, and then some leftovers, some things I wanted to touch on but haven't had a chance to touch on. Um, Before we begin, I'd like to remind people this is a value production. Um, it's fully funded by the people for the people. I don't take any YouTube money or any ad money. So, if you want to donate or saying show some value for value, please visit mofactz.com/donate or either MoFundMe, that's MoeFundme.com. And you can show some value there. So how that's gonna work before we get started, I'm gonna do a topic, then I'm opening up the lines, let people call in. I'll post the Zoom chat in the YouTube chat, and then you can call in, talk about that topic, then we move to the next topic. Okay, so that's kind of how the flow gonna go. I know this is a little new, but I want to make sure we got a little bit more structured. That's just how my brain works. But guess we can go ahead and get started with Little Nike X, the ruler of the power of the Air Max. So we all by now have caught up with Little Nas X and his explicit video, Montero, aka Call Me by Your Name. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 2 weeks in a row. And what this was like a Nike ad. This was a Nike ad, and I'm going to go through this. The company Mischief is the one who put the shoes out. They dropped. They actually got sued by Nike and was forced to pull the shoes off the shelf. But I think this was all planned. So we're going to go over some things. I'm going to interact with the live chat, see if y'all peep some things. And then, like I said, at the end of this section, I'll take some calls on this. Yep, Mischief. So I'm more focused on the shoes than the video, but we're going to talk about it all. But what I found strange was the way they spelled Mischief. And if you see here, it's MSCHF, Mischief. And what that is, if you're familiar with chaos magic, they take all the vowels out. I talked about this with BLM and Balaam, similar thing. And what that called is a sigil. And this is not off of my opinion. This is basically from the Book of Lies. And that's the Disinformation Guide to Magic and the Occult. And it's written by Richard Metzger. And in the book, he says that the McDonald's Golden Arches and the Nike swoosh and the Virgin Autograph are all corporate viral sigils. And so we're going to learn a lot about sigils here. Even the Church of Satan had to chime in for Little Nas X, and they gave him the shush sign. And the shush sign is famous. I think Rihanna has it tattooed on her finger, the hush or the shush. And that's kind of like a MK Ultra sex kitten thing. So yeah, Crowley for the win. Yes, a lot of this has a lot of sex magic in it, chaos and chaos magic, as well as sigils. And we're going to find out what a sigil is. We're going to do a deeper dive into that, referring to the Book of Lies. And we're just going to break this whole situation down. So, as in the book, it says a viral sigil. It says a viral sigil, also known as a brand or logo. It says it's not a recent development. See Christianity, Nazi, and any flag. But it says has become an inescapable global phenomenon in recent years. It goes on to talk about the Nazis, and it says about their being visionary savages, and instead of trampling their enemy and seizing their real estate, it said if only they had the foresight to see that global domination has nothing to do with turf and everything to do with media. So this is from the Book of Lies. I mean, I took this excerpt right from the book, and you see I highlighted it and underline these important points. Blunder Bliss says even got the clips of the creator talking how they implement black magic. Yeah. So I mean, basically what he did was he cast a spell on on pop culture with this video. We're gonna get deeper into that, but he said you would anticipate corporate stealth violence methods and combine them with undoubted design sense The rejected artists who engineered the Third Reich might have created the 20th century global super brand and spared lives of many potential consumers. The McDonald's Golden Arches, Nike swooshes, and the Virgin autograph are all corporate viral sigils. And it says a corporate viral sigil are super breeders. They attack unbranded imaginative space. So when you see these symbols, they tap into something in the mind. Even like they refer to about crosses, the pentagram, the inverted pentagram that taps into something in our subconscious mind. I appreciate that, Derek. She said, sound good. Yeah, I put a lot of work into this, as you can see. So hopefully you all enjoy it. It's a quality show. And, we're going to have some fun, but we just got to look at these deeper things. And, it's very good for our mental health to pay attention to this and see how these things are tapping in to our mind. And so going back to viral sigils, they said they breed across clothing, turning people into advertising hoarding. They are a very powerful development in the history of sigil magic, which dates back to the first bison drawn on the first cave wall. Yeah, so when we see symbols, they trigger certain things in our brain. And blunder bliss, if you like to email it to me, that'd be cool. So let's go back to the live chat and see what everybody's saying. It says symbolism is a language and tool. All tools can be used for good and bad. Intentions matter more than anything. Correct. And that's the whole point. They're just like any other weapon. They could be used for good or bad. But I wanted to point out that this video is more, and this shoe release was more than just product placement and a pop video. In my opinion, I think they're trying to push and see how far they can get with this blatant Satanism, and seeing if people recoil to it or if they, start to adapt it and accept it. So we're going to let's go a little deeper. Peace, Big Lows. How you doing? All right. So it says logo of brands like any sigil is a it's condensation, a compressed symbolic summing up of the world's desires, which the corporate intends to represent. It says Walt Disney died a long time ago, but his sigil, the familiar cartoonist signature, persists, carrying its own vast weight of meaning, association, nostalgia, and significance. All right, so you said mischief is soaked with Saturn symbolism. Oh, that's interesting. And magic is the intent. It's meant to, and the thing about magic, and the way I look about magic is, or any witchcraft, it's about control. Anytime you want to have control over people to make them do what against their own will, that's why I consider witchcraft. That's my definition. And it's not only my definition, but that's the definition I recognize, because when you try to get too deep with magic, it goes right over people's heads. Continuing on, it says what we really mean when we use the word magic. It says the corporate entities are worth studying and can teach the observant magician much about what we really mean when we use the word magic. They and other ghosts like them rule our world in the earlier 21st century. And right here you see a corporate egregore. I think it's how you pronounce it. It's French. And it's a cult. Basically it's saying when 2 or 3 people come together, they can heighten the power and have a more power than the sum of their parts. Okay, Janae. Okay, be safe out there. I hope the weather blows over and you're safe out there. Yeah, catch me on the playback. So let me get back to the live chat and see what we're saying here. Yeah, I'm glad, Leslie, you finally able to catch the live. Yep, Control and Magic Dirt Bike. Let's see. Yeah, finally catch the show. Yeah, I'm glad you all could catch the show. Yep. So let's keep going, because this is a very interesting subject, and the way they delivered Little Nas X to us, we got to get a little to his past now. It was sigils all around. they tried to link him to like a wholesome Christian, good kid, and they actually targeted his music towards kids. But egregory. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I had the pronunciation, but I messed that up. I appreciate that. I appreciate he said it's dope. Yeah, I'm glad y'all enjoyed. So let's get a little deeper in this. So they used sigils to communicate to us when they first brought him out, and they put the cross around him. And he was singing a country song, which country is almost synonymous with a certain wholesome demographic in America. And even the point where he was dropping children books. He has a children's book that says "C is for Country." It came out in just January of this year. So he was still playing into the children's market. But when he got backlash for his song, Montero, he said, "I literally sing about lean, which is drugs." If people are not familiar with lean, that's promethazine. It's a cough syrup, has codeine in it. They drink it with the sodas, Sprite or whatever soda. He said, I sing about lean and adultery in Old Town Road. You decided to let your child listen, blame yourself. And I totally agree with him. Nobody did any homework on this person. They just didn't listen to the song because it definitely has sexual connotations to it. And the thing is, I'm no prude. I like rap music. It is what it is, but you got to be careful what your kids listen to. And I want to show you another form of a sigil here is this NIN. And this is 9 Inch Nails. And this is one, he actually sampled a 9 Inch Nails song for the song Old Town Road. So I don't know if any people knew that or not. Blunder Bliss, you said, does this go on to the RSV? We can look into that. The visuals, we have to see how we can do that with the visuals in the podcast. So people can see what we're referring to, but that's definitely an option. Yes, Little Nas X or Lil Nike X is a tool. He has no power. And we're going to get more into that. Sophisticated Ignorant said they acted like country music don't want a black man, but Nelly is country. Yeah, Nelly is country. Charlie Pride, you got what's the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish? Darius. I forget his name, but yeah. I mean, black people been in country. Actually, a little known fact, my maternal grandfather, he sang honky tonk. so yeah, I mean, our people do a vast amount of things. It's not cool to be pigeonholed. Let's see here. Oh, what's up, Tiger Auntie? How you doing? I'm glad you can catch it live too. Yeah, like I said, Blunder Blitz, we have to see what we can do about getting this on the RSS feed, but it will be on mofactz.com. And I'll see what we can do about an audio version. Yes, Bernays is Fraud's nephew. It's not an accident. And I believe Bernays has either a nephew or some close relative is the CEO of Netflix. so this is all connected. It's a very small club. We're not in it. Yeah, we had to work on that, Blunder Bliss. So going back to this, he was never meant for children. And the thing, and what I want to point out to people was, we got to talk about memes. A meme is an idea, behavior, or style that spreads by means of imitation from person to person within a culture, often carries symbolic meaning and representing a particular phenomenon or theme. So the way Little Nas X got started was he was famous, or not famous, but known for making meme pages, one of them being for Nicki Minaj. And yeah, so he actually, I think he made like 100 memes for Old Town Road, and actually one got picked up, and that's how he got into celebrity, which memes is nothing but a form of a sigil as well. Let's continue on. All right, so I want to point out some things that when I first saw Little Nas X, there was some things that stood out to me about him, and I want to point those things out that possibly led to him being MK Asset or MK Ultra sex kit, for lack of a better word. Yeah, right, exactly, propaganda through TikTok. And TikTok is a very powerful because the way they condense down the information. Yep, and you see these dances, you're right, Wes Olson. It does train kids. And that's what memes do. I mean, we just spoke about that, how it transferred from one person to another person. Um, but continuing on, it says, while most of the internet was overwhelmingly supportive of Little Nas X, there was a number of people who seized upon the opportunity to make homophobic and ignorant remarks. A number of those responses were making the same joke that Old Town Road is about gay sex, pointing out to a number of lyrics which, if you're reaching, could have some euphemistic interpretations about gay sex. When I heard the song, it was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna repeat it, but it was very pause worthy. But if you remember when he first came out, I think somebody in the chat alluded to this. They actually kicked him off the country, off the country charts, and that's when Billy Ray Cyrus stepped in and supported Old Town Road and became a feature vocalist in back in April of 2019 on the remix. It said on the same month, Little Nas X broke Drake's record for the most U.S. streams in 1 week with 143 million streams for the week ending in April 11th. All right, so a little background on Little Nas X. He was raised in the church. His father was a gospel singer. And he's talked about the internal shame and fear he felt about growing up as a young gay man in that environment. And growing up in the Atlanta area, being a gay man in church, I don't see that. I don't know his church, but we know Atlanta and we know the black church. I mean, the joke about the tambourine player, even Tyler Perry told, or Medea told. So I don't see the pushback there. Let me see. Yeah, he was a Nicki Minaj fan, correct. I don't know if he's ADOS or not. That's a good question. I believe he is. I can't say definitively if he is or not, but I believe he is. Yes, memes are sigils. Yeah, that's true. Let me keep going through the live chat here. Yep, technology is magic. Yep. So let's see what else we got here. Let's read through the live chat. Yep, MK Ultra handle. So all right, so he came out. He went from this wholesome kid or making kid songs till he started putting his sexuality up front, and that's the same time when Billy Ray Cyrus stepped in. And just to show you, he went from innocent kid singing kid songs, allegedly kid songs, to twerking. He has an app called Twerk Hero, and it's a real game where you shake a virtual butt to Montero. I had to put a pause on that one, all the way pause. But I want to point out some things here. Just in this picture. When he went, this is from the picture when he was at the BET Awards with Billy Ray Cyrus, aka his handler. You can see here on his lapel, he has the leopard print. And the animal print, for people that's in the know, is known to be a signal or a sign or a marker for MK asset. Also in the video, you can see it was Billy Ray Cyrus driving him, and he was all about the money. So we're going to get deeper in that. I know people might think that's a reach, but let's see here. Sean M said, anything that isn't Christianity is satanic. The devil doesn't need you to worship him. He needs you just to not worship God. That's a good point because you hear it's like anti-Christ. It's not like pro-devil. It's anti-Christ. So that's I'm saying that's a good point about it, it's like diverting you it's diverting you from your faith. All right, so we continue on. All right, so the reason why Billy Ray Cyrus was a red flag for me is because who he is and who his daughter is. His daughter is the one and only Hannah Montana, aka Miley Cyrus. And in that show, Hannah Montana, she plays the role of, I have it here. Let's see. I'll wait for the screen to change. I don't know why it's lagging. All right, here we go. It says Miley image has been heavily marketed by Disney since the day she took on the role of Hannah Montana, the girl who, appropriately enough, had a stage alter persona with a different wig. Hannah Montana products often had butterflies on them, a slick reminder of how she was a Disney programming slave. So the reason why the butterfly is important because it refers to the Monarch programming. And Monarch programming is a method of hard mind control used by numerous organizations for covert purposes. And it's not only limited to governmental or military agencies. Big corporations such as Nike and other large corporations have assets as well. And this is how they keep them under control. So if, as you see here, Miley Cyrus with the butterfly, Miley Cyrus with the butterfly. And once she turned 18, she went into this hypersexual mode. She was known for twerking. You can see the questionable bears around her. I mean, we all know what that may allude to, but even in the video, you can see Little Nas X, the butterflies. He's covered in butterflies. All right. Yeah, and that's what Disney does. Exactly right. Hidden hand. They love flipping the script, especially with kids. And that's what Disney does. And it's like a program they have running down there. Not like a program. It is a program, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. Um, allegedly. It's they groom these kids, they get your kids attached to them, and then once they get 18, they flip them to this highly sexual persona. But let's get back to the Monarch program in MK Ultra, which was developed by the CIA and tested on military and civilians. Monarch programming is a mind control technique comprising elements of SRA, which stands for satanic ritual abuse, multiple personality disorder, or as I refer to it, DID, that's dissociative identity disorder. And it utilizes the combination of psychology, neuroscience, and occult rituals to create within the slave an alter persona that can be triggered and programmed by its handlers. So let's go back to the live chat and see what everybody's how we're taking in this information. I know it's a lot. Lauren Williams said this is all part of a long game. Social engineering Marxist agenda is slow turning up the heat. Yep, that's like the frog in the pot, right? If you go up a temperature at a time, it never hops out. But if you go up too fast, the frog will hop out the pot. Yep. Connor Lawrence, Orthodoxy and Religion of the Future by. No, I haven't read that. Yeah, can you send me the audiobook with stamps? That'd be cool because the timestamps, when you send me any information, timestamps, highlighted clips, that kind of thing, it helps me get through a lot of material a lot faster if you do that. Yes, that's what we're saying, Wes. Yeah, Hannah Montana was a MK Ultra show. Yeah. Um, yeah. You said, okay, I think that's black. I don't think that's black off. I don't okay. Too many consonants mess me up, man. But yeah, I get BLV. Why they let these out? It's like a serial killer. Why do they leave behind trinkets and clues? it's not good. It's not well enough that they get away with it. They want you to know what they've done. And Richie Luxury said, "What's the objective? Basically, to mind control the masses." And let me take a sidebar here. This is where okay, it's the Black Opal. Thank you, thank you for helping the brother out. I was like, oh, trying to sound the V's or A's. I got you. All right, so what they try to do is, I think Lauren Williams is getting to this fraction the psyche. If you notice the TikTok dances, the challenges, where do your kids get that from? I mean, they had our kids dumping cold ice water on themselves. It's all about control. It's like, okay, let's push it and see what we can control. And this is just my perspective, just my perspective. I think they push these things on the masses, and then see how far it'll take. And then it's like, okay, they're ready for this, but not for this. And they're constant. Remember the show we talked about on the show, Moe Factz with Adam Curry. If people are not familiar with that, check it out. About nudges. It's about the quick little, small nudges, nudge. If they get too blatant with it, then you'll recoil. But it's a sick way of kind of conditioning people. So I had to say it, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. So now we got to get a little deeper into the actual imagery in the video, which I found. I only watched it once because I didn't want that kind of imagery on me. I don't really take in that kind of I don't like a lot of satanic imagery. I don't watch horror movies, things of that nature, because I think they do, as we said with sigils, they go past your conscious mind and tap into the subconscious. So now we get to break down some of the stuff in the video. And here it says, when he said about Old Town Road, and it's weird he said this, he said the rapper took to Twitter to clarify the meaning of the song. He's talking about Old Town Road here. It was literally about horses, which I found that a weird statement. I found this image of a goat riding a horse. It said, ride like the devil. So I think that has something to do with it. But this video, he slides down the hill on a stripper pole, and he does this dance for the devil. And let's just get into the imagery before we get into the dance. On the floor, there was a message written in Latin. It says, damnat quod non intellegunt. And that translates, and forgive my Latin, it translates to English as they condemn what they do not understand. And this is a meme. This is a meme here. I want people to pay attention to this, because anytime you get into an argument with people that have liberal agendas, they always make it seem like you're dumb and you don't understand. It's like it goes over your head. You're a low-level thinker. And they put that on the floor literally. I'm going to say the translation again. It says they condemn what they do not understand. And that's all. You're a bigot. If you don't understand, you're a bigot if you don't understand it, that kind of thing. You must be closed-minded. All right, let's go back. Carlton Way one said, yep, social engineering. Remember the gender swapping challenge. Yep. You got this gender swapping challenge, the silhouette challenge, what's the one where they do the dance? I mean, I don't keep up with these things, but it's always a challenge, and each challenge is pushing you further, each time. Yeah, they are hiding things in plain sight because they have to. Revelation of the method makes the magic stronger. That's interesting. That's an interesting concept there. Okay, so I thought the devil dance was somewhat blasé, low-hanging fruit. The reptilian third eye stuff in the beginning is what tripped me up. Yeah, I didn't want to get into that because I didn't want to go too deep into this, but let's keep going because we got a lot to get through. All right, so when I saw this dance, there's this video, and you can look up. It's called, I think it's Masonic Ritual. Matter of fact, it's called Masonic Chair Dance. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the live chat. That way y'all can check that out at another time. But this is where I snagged this image from. And it's this, you can see they're clearly in a Masonic lodge and they do this chair dance. And this chair dance was very popular. I think Janet Jackson was the first one to do it. And maybe one, this just based off my memory, was to do that chair, use the chair as a sexual object to do the dance. I think there was that one movie where the girl pulls the water and it pours on her. I think that was another one, but this even goes back even to biblical time. If in the story of Herod and his daughter, his wife's daughter, excuse me, Herod got drunk and he promised his wife's daughter anything up to half his kingdom if she would do a dance for him. And she danced so well that he actually had to honor his promise. And her mother actually asked for John the Baptist's head on the platter. So I'm just showing you the power of dance there. But in this dance, he seduces the devil. And if you notice here, he's bent over, bent over for the devil, pause. And this imagery is like butt breaking. And what this alludes to, let's come back out of the esoteric into the exoteric. There is the common narrative that Black men specifically, but men in Hollywood in general, have to bend over and sell their soul. Thank you, Flash Dance, Stephanie B. I appreciate that. Yep, it's a bastardization of the scripture. Yep. Oh yeah, Oswald Shutt had it as well. Thank you. But yeah, and you know, he gave up his goods to the devil. He seduced the devil, and then he was able to break the devil's neck, and then he becomes the devil, or this enlightened figure. So I just wanted to point that out, you know, with this Masonic dance and things of that nature. So let's go back to the live chat a little bit, see what people got going on. Who's that girl? Madonna. Oh yeah, Madonna, big time witch. Yep, allegedly. So everybody knows, you know what I'm saying, kind of gets where we're going here, but we got to go, you know, as we do, we had to go, you know what I'm saying, we got to pay attention to everything. And it's really about to get spooky here when you see these next couple of slides I have coming up. But let me make sure I didn't miss any good comments because you guys are really coming with it tonight. All right, so the subplot of this story was FKA Twigs. And she had a similar video where she descends into hell. But in this video, as she's descending into hell on a stripper pole, she's met by a dragon, and the dragon has the face of her. And let's just point out a couple things here. Little Nas X, animal print again. He's notorious for this animal print. And also FKA Twig is notorious for the animal print. And she's captured many a times with this green zebra striped coat on. I mean, they have tons of images of her in this coat. I just want to point that out when we're talking about the MK Ultra angle to it. And this is from the director of Old Town Road. He says, I'm a fan of Little Nas X, Old Town Road. Of Montero. He said, I'm a fan of Little Nas X, Old Town Road is iconic. Sharing collaborators is common. Seeing the cellophane, that was the name of FKA Twig song, choreographer collab with Little Nas X is awesome. Love a Satan dance. He said it himself, love a Satan dance. Yeah, sharing aesthetics and paying homage is part of the creative process. Collective consciousness exists. And that goes back to, I think it was Agorgy. I can't say it. Agorgy. Okay, I'm butchering that word. But anyway, you know what I mean? It's the collective. They get together, they cast spells, and it has more power. So I'm sure somebody's gonna type in the the phonetic spelling again of that word, but you get what I'm saying. You know, they get together and they cast these spells on us. Let's continue. But let's get back to the so now enter FK Twig, which is a very interesting character. Let's keep going though. Carter once said J-Lo damn near do a chair dance every concert. Yes, that's true. And she's more famous for her dancing than her singing, actually. See, Sarah Golden, stepdad asks daughter to dance for him and mom allows it. Creepy, very creepy. Very creepy. Let's see here. Hidden Hand says they also believe it tells the truth. They also believe that if they tell the truth, us truths, then even in a stupid way or through the Simpsons or something like that, then they are not held responsible through karma or cosmic responsibility. That's a very interesting. So basically, they say if you didn't figure it out, it's on you. That's very interesting, and I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. Also practice Kabbalah. Dragons are devil symbolism. Yes, that's the point I was trying to make about her with the dragon. All right, so now this is where it gets interesting. And it says, FKA Twig thanks Little Nas X for acknowledging that her cellophane video inspired his Montero. Okay, so this is why I said this was a Nike commercial, because years before, FKA Twigs, I think maybe a year or two, that's 2000, hold on. In 2018, she did a risque Nike video, and a lot of people got in trouble in Nike over it. It says at Nike, revolt led by the women's lead to exodus of male executives. So they shoot this risque video, and got something from the article from about the video. It says when Nike first came to me with the project, I saw it as an opportunity to let young people know that they have power to become the best version of themselves, says Twigs. Now, New York Times report about the exodus of male executives at Nike mentioned another advert product by Twigs, this time for a Vapor Max shoe campaign. It says the results of the ad was killed despite the costing Nike millions of dollars. Nike funded this commercial for her. So I think they learned it. This is my perspective. I think they learned their lesson from the Twigs experience, and they actually let him put out the video himself, and they ran it like as a backdoor Nike campaign. Also, going back to this, FKA Twigs, butterfly symbolism, the one eye. Come on. And look here, FKA Twig details physical, emotional abuse allegations against Shia LaBeouf. I felt so controlled. And look at Shia LaBeouf, butterfly. You can't make this stuff up, man. You really can't make it up. And that sounds like emotional abuse, physical abuse. I would think that would lend to her the assumption that he possibly was her handler. But let's go to the live chat and see what the people think. Yeah, Lucifer is referred to as the Red Dragon. They always tell us it's part of the spell. They have to tell us. It's kind of like they need our consent in a weird way, even if it's subconscious. Oh, okay. Lauren says, so we're at so that's the presentation on Little Nas X. What I want to do now, I'm going to open up the live chat for people to call in. I mean, the Zoom for people to call in, if you want to. And if we don't get, let's see, if we don't get call-ins, we'll move on to the next topic. All right, but yeah, I mean, this shows you that, in my perspective, this shows you the power of Nike. This shows you what they're about. That's just my opinion. Yeah, the word of the day, I was saying that Netflix CEO has links to these guys. Yep, I think he is tied to the Bernays family in some kind of way. Let's see if we get any callers to call in. This is your time to comment on this topic, and if not, then we'll move on. Okay, we got Lauren Williams, so go ahead and let her in. All right, and if you call in, make sure you have your sound muted in the background so we don't get the background feed. Oh, did we lose her? I think we lost her. All right. Let's see if she comes back. Let me get through some of these. Yeah, it only cost. I mean, to be honest with you, those shoes will still be sold in the black market. They'll still be collector items, and it really pushed the agenda for what they're really trying to push, and seeing what the temperature is on open out and out Satanism. That's what that was really about. Yeah, Shaw M, like inviting vampires. Yeah, you got to let them in, right? And vampires are synonymous with that demon-esque lifestyle. Rodney Williams, and Nike plays a major part in this. What does it say about China playing the part into this? Oh, well, communism / Marxism is linked to Satanism. I mean, let's just keep it 100. That's just, I mean, we have to, that we can't beat around the bush about that. Let me see. Oh, okay. Michael, wow, before we move on, the butterfly symbolism is for monarch programming. And from my understanding of it, a monarch butterfly, it can fly somewhere and die, but the programming is passed to its offspring, and they remember where they came from, and they're able to retrace the steps. So it's about the memorization, and it's actually, the program was called monarch programming. So that's the significance of the butterfly symbolism. Yeah, it is fascinating. I mean, small world. Thank you, Davey. Yep. Yep. So let's see. Nobody will call, so I can move on to the next topic. And remember, this is a value for value platform. I don't take any YouTube money, so Cash App and PayPal if you like to support and show some value. All righty. So let's see. AOC Good with me. What on code looks like. So we're gonna get to a little politics here. We don't need need to do as a deeper dive as we did with Montero and Lil Nike X, but let's go for it. So where the background of this story on the AOC with me, this is when she came out and says that it was a human right, Trump's policy were human rights violations and the victim deserve reparations, but conditions under the Biden administration are still barbaric. So she was pushing for reparations for illegals. Wow, the nerve. All right, so while the slides catch up, let's make sure I didn't miss anything before we move on to the next chapter. Okay. All right, so yeah, it says AOC finally slams Biden's barbaric border condition. Family says deserves reparations. How bold. And in the article, she says at one point, it said in the article says at one point, she says families who were forcibly separated during Trump years are owed reparations. What about families that were separated for over 400 years, or whatever narrative you want to believe, 1619, or even goes back before that? But we're really only concerned with 1776 up, with the claim from ADOS, aka Foundational Blacks. We're only concerned about American slavery. But it's just the audacity for her to use those words, and I don't hold her responsible, because she's supposed to do this for her constituents and for her base. this is what uncode looks like. The trouble I have is with the people that that are in cahoots with her and the squad, and why they not as voiceful for reparations as she is. So we're gonna get a little into what's going on at the border and how this is a color issue as well. It's not only about illegal immigration, it's also not all illegal immigrants are not made equal, and we'll get into that. So First Nation people deserve reparations. I think when you say First Nation, I think you're referring to also known as Native Americans. Well, yeah, they received some repayment. I'm not in the position to go negotiate what their deal is or what it should be. I can only speak for what's pertinent to my claim and my family's claim. So I'm not going to really dive into that topic. David Jones said reparations imposed on Germany after World War I directly led to World War II. Also, Davey, a little more complex than that, and from my knowledge, it was also the surrender requirements. I think that went a little too far, and I think that's what Germany, got upset about. All right, Catherine says, I don't know much about this topic, but that's why I show up to Moe's class. Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, Lauren Williams says AOC is a socialist plan, and what we just talked about, socialism, Marxism, communism makes sense. But going back to what's happening at the border for Black immigrants, it says Black immigrants are facing rampant racism in Mexico while waiting for U.S. asylum. We have no choice. So it says Black immigrants get noticed immediately. So they get stopped by police a lot more. Canez told BuzzFeed News. And when the police stop them, they may ask for money in exchange for not turning them over to immigration, or they might just mistreat them. They face greater discrimination, not just because they are their language, but also because of racism in Mexico. Interesting. But also, if you look on this slide here, in this image, the one-eye symbolism, I found that fascinating. Let's continue on. It says, Lori asked BuzzFeed News to use only her middle name out of fear of the circumstances that causes her to flee Cameroon. She's from Cameroon. Also said that she had to deal with rampant bigotry, specifically directed at Black women on account that their race and gender. See, here we go, that gender split again. I'm sure the male Cameroon immigrants receive similar discrimination, but they got divided by sex as well. I mean, that's just on code. She said she was repeatedly told by employers and local residents that only way a Black woman can make money in Mexico was sex work. Fascinating. And I always go, and to be honest with you, a lot of what's going on at that border is driven by human trafficking in the sex industry. Let's not look over that. Okay, let me explain what I'm saying. Land v win. All right, let me catch up with some of these. I see y'all are I'm not set up for that right now, significant ignorance, but I can do that on the next show. I will read them real time. Maybe I can redo it at the end. I maybe can do that, but I'm not prepared to do that tonight. Sorry about that. I missed your topic. Missed your comment before. Okay, word of the day, Howard University removal of classics. Okay. They're moving down. I think I read that already. She's an actress. True, she is an actress. And AOC, that's another sigil. Her initials is bigger than her. If you believe that. Okay, now getting back to I think it's Land v Win. She says Mexican immigrants are not her constituents. She grew up in the richest country in America, and her constituents are tech billionaires. Well, what I mean by constituents are this is who this is, and I know I'm gonna get killed for this probably by YouTube, but this is what the replacement is all about. They're bringing in constituents that vote the way they want them to vote. So that's how I use that. That's how I'm using that word. I'm using tongue in cheek and being facetious when I use that, but she's going to serve the people that they can guarantee will vote for them. The thing about tech billionaires is that's a very, very small minority. So they need the numbers to back up the vote. David Jones, yeah, the combination of things. Carter Wayne won. Trump could have given reparation to black folks, and we would still have voted for Biden. Shaking my head. I mean, we're seeing. I mean, a lot of people now having buyer's remorse with Biden, but it is what it is. We're not surprised by how it turned out. I don't know what that is. All right, keep going. Okay, 9/11. He said the police extort everybody for any reason. Now, that's true. That is true. Not all police. We don't say all about anything, but that is a rampant problem down there. Yeah, BuzzFeed News. But yeah, it's interesting they had this article. Let's see here. Let's get through some more of these comments. This is a conflict between good and evil at a very basic level. Yes, David John, I believe that as well. In the morning, to everybody that said in the morning. Life and death. Congruous with good and evil. Okay. Demographic change. Yes, that's what it's all about. The only thing they don't understand is that other minority groups is not as loyal to the Democratic Party as so-called black, aka ADOS, aka foundational blacks. We're the most loyal voting bloc they have. The thing when you bring other people here from other countries, as they gain more wealth and they get ingrained into society, they start to vote more conservatively. So it's kind of like a leaky bucket in that manner. Definitely a class war, race, gender divide, classes against each other. Yeah, it's all chaos. I mean, that's what it really is chaos at the end of the day. All right, so let's get into the squad here. Ananya Presley, we got Jamal Bowen and Corey Bush. So we're going to look into this because these are the people I hold responsible. Bush, Bowman, and Presley. There are the quote unquote ADOS Foundation of Black members of the squad. And why they not speaking as freely about reparations as their buddy in the squad AOC is. So I'm sure everybody else outside of those three are getting something tangible out of are there people that they represent and get something tangible. So we're going to go through a little history of this. So Bowman, he is from let's see, the 16th congressional district since 2021. He just got there, which is the North Bronx, as well as southern half of Westchester County. He's a member of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and the Congressional LGBT Equality Caucus. I don't see Black Caucus anywhere. Found that fascinating. Let's see here. It says we can have honest conversation on immigration without discussing the how and why. What? See, and that's what my problem with. I mean, when you go through their tweets, they're all about immigration. They're all about every other cause, LGBT. He even said something about this lady here who lost her job due to COVID. She has 4 children to feed, but our anti-immigrant unemployment system, which I think is anti-illegal immigrant unemployment system, is blocking her from collecting unemployment. I don't get it. All right. But when he seeks to talk to Black people, I mean, he said we demand reparations before I pulled some tweets. I went down his timeline. he said it right before the election, but after the election, he hasn't said anything else about it. I mean, because that's how we know how the Democrats do. No, I'm not close to Elizabeth City. That was a sad case what happened there though. That was crazy. All right. So, and this is like, this is how these people use our culture, hip hop, and our artists to kind of try to build a bridge with the young voter. It says Bowman is a fan of New York hip hop group Wu-Tang Clan. He describes hip hop as a culture that is created by teenagers who were forgotten about, and because they were forgotten about, they were forced to come together and create something beautiful. That was that chosen family that we talked about in the previous show. It said Bowman drew inspiration from the Wu-Tang Clan during his underdog campaign. He frequently been seen in a Wu-Tang Clan emblazoned face covering during the COVID-19 pandemic. Pandering. All right, let's go back to the live chat here. Okay, so let's see. How you doing, Andrea? How everybody doing? Okay. Sheep don't eat meat. Okay, I think still on the last topic. All right. So yeah, more about Jamal here. This is an article, Jamal Bowman, on how Congress can dismantle institutional racism. It says in Bowman's vision of a third attempt, Congress wouldn't just study slave reparations for Black Americans; it would actually pay them out. And he goes on to say Congress will hold a series of hearings, blah 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 blah. But then at the end, he says, beginning the process of healing and reparations, repairing what we have harmed or allowed to continue to harm the country overall, but particularly Black and brown communities. They always have to say Black and brown communities. They have to, no matter what they're talking about, it can never be specifically about so-called Black people. It always has to be Black and brown. And that's why I say I have no problem with AOC pushing for reparations, because that's what she's there to do. My problem was with the people that supposedly represent us, and they're not coming with the same kind of heat and demands. Yeah, she was a former bartender. What's up, AKW Beats? How you doing? Glad to see you in the house tonight. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just boil it down to a bartender, but yeah, she didn't have very much governmental experience before she was elected. But that's going back to she's AOC, that sigil, that meme. She's more of a meme than a politician. And you can see that Nancy Pelosi and Harry Schumer, they understand. I mean, excuse me, Chuck Schumer. They understand that they have to keep her around they had to keep her around to keep the young vote and the progressive vote. And you're right, Carlton Way One. When you hear Black and brown, he said run away. It's always the Black and brown. And not, like I said, if they feel like they represent everybody, that's up to them. But then don't come to us like we have specific demands when you're just talking. All right, now we got to get to Ayanna Presley. Let's see. Let's get into some of her background. She represents the 7th congressional district in which she was elected in 2019. Her district includes northern 3/4 of Boston, most of Cambridge, and parts of Milton. All right, so that's her turf. Let's see what she's a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressional Caucus for Women Issues, and Congressional Progressive Caucus. And it's like, once again, going through some of her tweets. If POTUS is serious about closing the racial wealth gap, he needs to commit to a broad-based needs to commit to broad-based, across-the-board student debt cancellation. Student debt cancellation does not help all Black people, does not help Black people exclusively. This is what I'm talking about. Everything they have to put forward has to help everybody. But when other groups talk, when AOC spoke, she was very specific. She didn't even say all Hispanic people. She was very specific about the group of people that she wanted to get reparations for. And it was not inclusive. Actually, no, I don't think we would, Mr. Sutton. I don't think we would move out the country. I think I let me see how I can say this. I think Black Americans or ADOS, foundational Blacks, we have a tie to this country. It's not a negative tie. It's not like a support system, but this is our country. I mean, I don't see it happening. I mean, because if that was the case, then we would leave. And let's just be honest here. Why would we be going in the opposite direction of everybody else? America is the place of opportunity. I mean, we can't keep it, you know what I'm saying? We gotta keep it 100. Why would if we see all the traffic coming one way, why would we go the other way? People come here from all over to get business and do business and opportunities, and it's a lot of opportunity here. My thing is, and the thing is with reparations, I'm gonna say this again, which I call atonement, is the reason why reparations is a big deal for me. It's not, well, it is about the money, but it's also about it's a debt owed. And then even bigger than that, what it gives us is the mechanism to say to these politicians to see how serious they are about our desires, right? We don't want criminal justice reform. That's only it only affects a minority of people within our group. Like I said, student debt loan, it only affects a certain percentage of our group. This will be our amnesty. And what I mean by that is when they go to talk to Hispanic voters, amnesty is or some kind of citizens package is spoke about, and that's the goalpost. Reparations is that for us, it lets us know how serious they are, and if you're not serious, stop bothering us. Go figure out how to get votes somewhere else. That's just that's my opinion. Right, and that's what I'm saying, Rick Mills. We helped build this country, and it's a hell of a country. I mean, when you put all of its flaws aside, if you just look at it, I'm saying objectively, everybody else in the world wants to be here or a good part of it. So why don't we take the fight to the world courts? Okay, think about Neely Fuller's definition of white supremacy as a one world government. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I think we have a better chance here. I think we have a better chance with these courts than we would in the world court, and that's sad to say. Because let's be clear, a lot of people profit off us staying on the bottom. So it's not like we have a lot of allies that's trying to see us come up off the bottom. But now back to Ayanna Presley. More symbolism. I'm going to kind of breeze through this because I'm saying I got some other stuff to get to. But, you know, more symbolism when they talk to us, the MLK, like I told you, MLK is a sigil himself. MLK, the actual letters are literally a sigil. I mean, don't you see how all this stuff feeds in? They cast the spells on us. Every January, they crank up the MLK machine. They get us to fall in line. Anytime so-called Black people start getting out of hand, they say, what would Martin Luther King do? What would Martin Luther King say? What would he think? You know, that kind of thing. So it's just more sigils, more mind control. But as you can see here, she's pushing for trans and non-binary families. You know, she's pushing for AAPI, everything, all over the place. It's frustrating, but you know, what it is, what it is. All right, let me get back to the live chat and see what we got going on here. If you mean the world courts, and hey, it bears pointing out that This exists in Holland, which is ruled by a guy who was once the chairman of, yeah, okay. Interesting. Thank you, Davy James Jones for that nugget. And if you don't know what he's talking about, yeah. Yep. All right. Lauren Williams, where else is there to live? Like the U.S. Right. Where is this to live? I mean, America, you know what I'm saying? America, hey, is a great place. It's just if we need to get over these emotional hangups that we have that's left out that are leftover ghosts from slavery. Once that's done, we can start with a clean slate and build from there. And that's why I do agree with Mary Ann Williamson about it's something cosmic to slavery as well. It's bigger than just money or a dollar sign, which I mean, tangibles is very important, but it's the atonement part. And that's why I use the Farrakhan speech about atonement. Atonement has to be done within our group, intra-group and intergroup. Let me be honest. Carolyn Blaney from this side of the border, USA is looking better each day. The reoccurring lockdowns are killing people. That is true. Oh, it's not perfect. No, it's not. It's not. It's not get it twisted. It's not perfect. Yep, AKW beats. Yep, one world government. That's how Neely Fuller described white supremacy, and that's why if you believe in the Illuminati and you believe in the one world government and globalism, it's not a far leap to white supremacy. I mean, that's why couch it or put it in that perspective. It's like if you believe in all these other covert rulers and elites, it's not hard to see. He said, let's head to Greece. Man, Greece ain't even Greece no more. Wow. I mean, that's some crazy stuff going on over there. All right, so let's get back to Miss Presley. It says in here, it's just an article. This is about true reparations. It goes on and says she says she supports efforts to defund the police. Now, defunding the police is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. And I'll say this again, defunding the police is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life because it sounds hot. You live in a nice neighborhood. What'll happen is HOAs, they'll hire cops, private security guards. And then what happens to the poor people that are victims of crime anyway? When you look at the cross section between race and economics, poor people of color or poor Black people or poor people in general are victims of crime at a higher rate than affluent people. Let's just keep it 100 here. I mean, when you live in poor neighborhoods, you've got a higher victim rate of crime. And these are the people that can't afford their own private cops. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the way they play with us and play with this political football is just very disingenuous. But she continues on and says, because the movement is about the investment in our communities, which have historically been divested from. This is simply about a refund. This is about true reparations. This is about investment in communities. This stuff runs so deep in terms of dehumanization and the objectifying of Black and brown bodies. Here it goes again. Black and brown bodies. Never fails. See what we got going on over here. Shakespeare, you crazy. You call the ghost, but right. I mean, this is the most idiotic thing in the world. You're gonna take police from the people that who and it's a messed up situation because you don't trust the police, but you still have to use them. That's why we have to, look into policing ourselves. We have to look into I got a lot of great ideas. Being people in our community being deputized, that way they can police their own communities. Looking at where I'm One thing I like to see is these body cameras cops where let's live stream their vision, their view. Let's have a website where we can go on and watch to see what cops see. And I think we will have more empathy for police as well, because it's a sucky job. Trust me. It's a sucky job. Yeah, and that is an ugly sweater since we talking about sucky things. That sweater is, oh my God. But anyway, let's get back to let's get back to the third member of the squad, Miss Cori Bush. Now I gotta be fair, I'm all testing 1 2. Is my audio good? Let me know. It's always something, man. Look, I work on this computer all day, and it's not even my good computer. I actually bought a new laptop. I work on it all day. When I'm working for the man, the computer works fine. Let me see. Is my sound good? Let me get a 1 if my sound is good. Let me see. All right, great. I work on this computer all day. I work on computers all day, no problem. Internet, no problem. Everything runs smooth when you're working for somebody else. When you try to work for yourself, this is what happens. But you know what? They ain't gonna stop us. Now I'm back to Miss Cori Bush. See what congressional group she's in. Congressional for Progressive Caucus, Congressional for LGBT, and then the Black Congressional Caucus. So let's look at some of her tweets. Voting rights are better than the filibuster. It's LGBT rights or it's the filibuster. It's union rights or it's the filibuster. It's civil rights or it's the filibuster. It's our rights or it's the filibuster. They can't even say it. They can't even use the word black, or it has to be followed by brown. It's crazy. I mean, it's like they get marching orders. But whenever they need to invoke Black Lives Matter, it's like, okay, that's our brand of black we can deal with. Okay. But okay, let's keep going. All right. It says, our Asian neighbor, family, and friends, I know the world seems more scary today, more cruel. Know that we love you. We mourn those killed last night in Atlanta with you. We will dismantle white supremacy alongside you. Okay. You're just now getting started with that? I mean, like, did it take some other group to be harmed before you want to start dismantling white supremacy? I don't know how that works. Please let me know how that works. Yeah, her tweets are wow. We are the wealthiest nation in the world. We can afford to adequately house and care for undocumented children. Now, last time I checked, there are Black children out here that's homeless. This is what irks me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this is what irks me, man. Trans lives, everything but Black. Now, me being who I am, I have to be fair, because you know what I'm saying. We're gonna look at some of the things she did say that I can't approve of. But while we're doing that, let's get back to the live chat. Yeah, I mean, her tweets are wild, man. Hey, look, Mr. Clown, they ain't gonna stop me. If I gotta be in here with my phone, a flip phone, they ain't gonna stop me, because we have to talk about these things. And the reason why talking about these things is not that we're harping on the negativity. The thing is, we have to see how these things play out. Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Yes, Lauren, when Black BLM is a sigil. And I mean, this is before I ever knew what a sigil was. I know in chaos magic, what they do is remove the vowels. So if you remove the vowels out of Balaam, which is a demon, it spells BLM. So that's just yeah. So yeah, it's a trap. And what this does is they keep you on this political treadmill, and it's a 4-year cycle or a 2-year cycle, depending how involved you are in politics. And it keeps you from chasing your own dreams and, being productive. It's like, all politics is going to fix it for me. Now, like I said, Black Lives Matter and these things like that, they are not for us. If you want to come talk to us, talk about something tangible. If you're not talking about something tangible, go find your votes elsewhere. This is very simple. What this does is this declutters our life to say, if you're not talking about what we're talking about, we're going to be working on what we need to be working on to better ourselves, making ourselves more productive members of this society and this country. And you can go, deal with who you need to deal with. That's how we buy large mansions. And yeah, they've been giving the BLM with these acronyms lately. See how that sigil gets turned around on you? Magic, man, you gotta be careful with magic. It can easily be turned around on you. But now, in all fairness, we ought to give Miss Cori Bush her credit, because she was asked about reparations post-election. I gotta give her credit, and this is around the HR 40. She said it was systemic and it's structural. It was systemic, it was structural, it was political, backed by legislation passed by this very body to deny descendants of enslaved people economic and social opportunity. Underlying the generational trauma and exploitation is a government that abandons its role to protect its own citizens. A government that refused to even acknowledge the humanity of my ancestors. A government that to this day refuses to acknowledge or atone, look, ding, 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 atone for the wrongdoings of white supremacist violence. I gotta give her credit. I can't be all negative. If you do something that sounds right or looks right, then I have to at least give you credit for that. And she even put out post-election tweet about reparations. So got to give her some credit. I mean, it's not up to you said that looks spicy, Mo. She'll run with it. What are you talking about? It looks spicy. Let's see, make sure I make. Yeah, it upholds victimhood, and that's the problem I have with it is they come. No, don't do that, Blunder. No, Blunder Bliss. No. Don't you be putting no sigils on my live chat. Don't do me like that. So back to what I was saying was, you messed me up, Bliss. Yeah, it's very simple exchange. But you heard my opinion on this. Let's see this. I'm gonna open up where we can hear your thoughts. Let's see if we get any callers. Let me post the live chats. Let me post the link in the live chat. I'm looking to hear from somebody. And the funny thing is, before we continue on, people ask, "Hey man, why don't you get a calling line?" And y'all let me know, would a phone call-in number work better? If a phone call-in number will work better, press 2 instead of the Zoom call. I thought the Zoom would be better, but we could look into getting the actual phone line. I'm just reading all these interesting comments, man. I mean, I have to say this. I think I have one of the smartest group of subs on YouTube. Yeah, Bliss. Hey man, you did me dirty with the sigil. But yeah, I think we have one of the smartest groups Okay, Rick Mills said, yeah, phone would be better. I'll work on that. I'll work on actually getting a phone call in. Okay, the people have spoken. The people on the phone. Actually, there is a, let me see. If y'all got time, I got time. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's an actual phone number to call in. Let's see if that helps. Maybe you can find your local number here. Yeah, I hope to hear from somebody though. Yeah, I like kicking it with y'all. Like I said, one of the smartest subgroups, group of subs on YouTube. It's not a time that don't have a lot of. I don't come away learning something. We say the queen of voicemails is here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So definitely got to get a phone. I thought Zoom has a call-in number. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving. Okay. Wait. We got some people in here. Wait. Hello, Miss Wynn. Got Miss Wynn here.
Yes, this is Tiger Auntie.
How you doing, Tiger Auntie?
Good. I am so grateful for the Moe Factz because my little nephew needs a whole lot of education because his father's not around. So I'm really happy
Yeah,
to
I didn't want to
learn
disclose
about
too much of your note because I'm saving that for the show. I found that very touching, though, what you wrote.
Oh,
And I
blessed be,
appreciate that.
because I am so serious about doing the work. It is so important for the little ones to know the facts.
Yes.
So that's all I wanted to share for now. And I'll definitely be tuning in every Thursday night.
Can I ask you a question? Favorite episode?
Sure thing.
We always like to ask favorite episode.
Yeah. Oh God, I have so many, but I was extremely touched by the I just eye-opening was the Kaepernick and as well as uh Martin Luther King.
Okay, the Dream
That
Machine.
that was
yes.
The Dream Machine. That was really eye-opening, and I'm really inspired to learn more about Malcolm X. I mean, my little nephew is only 9, but he's super curious, and because this is because the Asian side of him is only available, he's been really curious about the Vietnam War and everything else, but learning about all the other things, that your conspiracy therapy is really opening up my eyes, especially on the Vietnam War side, because my mother worked for the CIA. So it's getting me into a deep rabbit hole.
Okay. I'm glad you shared that with us. And like I said, please call back in on the next live. And I can't wait to read read your letter on the next show, which will be coming very soon.
Oh, thank you so much. And I will get in touch with you again about doing the work.
Okay. Yeah. Make sure everybody else does the work as well in the live chat. You know what I'm saying? Share it with a friend. I always say this while I have you on the phone. Sometimes when you're a little hesitant to share this information with people, it's like, you're self-conscious. I know. I think that's why a lot of people don't want to like videos or share them, because it's like, we don't have very popular opinions, but I think we do the homework, we do the work of making sure they're factual. So
that the facts is just what makes it important. Keep driving it through. So yes, I am definitely, I'm not hesitant. I'm a, like I said, tiger auntie. I got my claws out.
all right,
So
Tiger Auntie, you have a good one, okay?
thank you so much.
She said she got her claws out. All right. I'll see if we got any more other people. Let's see here. That's what I'm talking about, folks. Doing the work. She wrote a very touching letter. Like I said, we have to wait till the show to hear it. But it's and I'm like this in like just my everyday life. I love cards. I love when not just the actual cards, but when people write words to say how they feel. I like that more than actual gifts. Now, gifts, of course, are nice. Don't get me wrong. But when somebody takes the time and actually writes something in a card, and, like, I got a box full of cards that go all the way back from me being an adult, and I actually need another box because any card that has personal writings in it, I always save them because you always can go back and read and remember how people remembered you at the time. So, and I do that with the letters y'all write as well. I actually read them to my kids. I'm like, can you believe this? And I'll read them to the kids, and they're like, wow, Dad, like that's pretty cool. So thank you, Tiger Auntie. Like Tiger Auntie, like you very popular in the live chat too. That's a cool name. I like that. Sean Anderson, I'm proud to share with all my family, friends, and coworkers. I've got a lot of people tuned in. I appreciate that. And that's the only way this channel grows. What's up, Jesus Vargas? Nah, you ain't late. You're right on time. You can catch the playback, anything you may have missed. But what I want to say is that's why I try to make the show where it's palatable to a wide audience. And I only use swearing where it's only necessary to highlight a point or to get a point across. I don't try to base it in hate because I don't think hate gets us anywhere. I don't think you can get as much accomplished through hate as you can love. I know that may sound very cliche, but I believe that, you know what I'm saying, the good vibes and good energy gets us a further along than negativity. Hey, AK Pimp Juice, what's up? Unplug him since you're here. I appreciate that. Big Unc. Hopefully Big Unc listening. I gotta get him up here too. Man, that's a praying brother right there. Y'all go check out Unplug him. It's UNPLUGEM. Unplug him. It's one of my mentors in this truth game. All right, so as we continue on to part 3, let me make sure I don't have any other people calling in. Nope, nobody else wants to get in. Hey, Jesus Parkinson, you doing some spreading, brother. He said, I spread the Moe Factz with Adam Curry like the government spreads propaganda. Man, you got some heavy competition there. Blunder Bliss, he says, here's a question. It's a good question too. Here's the question. Do your kids listen to the show with Adam with you? They hear me already enough. So no, they don't actually listen to the show, but they do actually know of my YouTube presence. Cause they're like, oh, my dad's a YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? They're like, Dad, how many subs you got? That kind of thing. They get a kick out of that. And the thing about subs is I am so happy with I think where we're at like 6,000. That is 6,000 all natural, organic, no GMO, no stat padding. Every one of those subs are hard earned, and I love every one of them. As people know, as a lot of people in here tonight that was here when I had 6 subs or 60 subs or 600 subs, I come with the same energy. That's why I had to go back. I had to retool. I think you deserve, if you're going to give me your time, I think you deserve a well put together product. The same energy that I'll put into the podcast, I want to put into this live show. There's some things we can do here on this live show we can't do in the podcast. I can get your feedback, which is one. Two, I can present some visuals that the podcast doesn't afford me. So the thing is, these two things are two completely different products. In the sense that this allows me to talk about the smaller topics that may not bloom into a whole show that I want to talk about, but the show doesn't give me the opportunity. So this is going to be something different, something special. I'm going to put equal amount of work into this as I do the podcast as well. Of course, the podcast is my baby, so but this is my new baby. And as you know, we all love all our children the same, differently, but the same. See here. Yeah, AK Pimp Juice said real quality subs, no bots here. No bots here. And if I see bots, I get them up out of there if they try to come in. Be bot. Sean M says, Days, Moe, and Theo helped me find my way back to Christ. I can't even thank them enough. And for you to put me in there with those two brothers, man, they've been doing it for a minute, and they do it with the same intensity they did when they came into it, when I got introduced to them. Yeah. So if I had any 1% of that, I am more than honored. Because as you know, I'm a believer, but I don't push that off on anybody. I think you can deal with people out of a kind heart and love without trying to push your beliefs on them. I never want to do that with my platform. Now, if it intrigues you and makes you want to do more studying, fine. And I won't never hide my beliefs either, to try to cater to the masses. I wear my belief on my sleeve, but I try to talk about it as little as possible. I'd rather walk it than talk it. Okay, Lauren Williams says she learned about Moe through Hotep. Hey, and it's about that time again, Lauren. It's about that time I gotta hit up Hotep and see, we got some stuff to talk about. I drop in every few months. So, and he's been more than kind and gracious to open his platform up to me. I receive nothing but love. I mean, it's amazing. Y'all wouldn't believe this. Like, I have no background in this. All I have background in is running my mouth. And it's a gift, I guess, from the Most High that He gave me to run my mouth. But the love I've been given from Star, I gotta always put Star first. That's my main man. He gave me my Star report. Go check him out. He opened his platform up to me, and gave me, the room to grow and build my confidence in, public speaking. And then, of course, the story with me and Adam. If you don't, Adam being the Pod Father, and actually was willing to, do a show with me. That was huge. And then with Hotep, he opened his platform up to me. It's been nothing but love. And man, I'm just trying to tell you, man, it's like a magic carpet ride, man. I sometimes, like I tell my man E-Class, aka Coach, if I didn't have E-Class to go along this journey with me, man, you wouldn't believe how some of this stuff went down. That's my man right there. That's my man, 100 grand E-Class, and it's my confidant. That's my consigliere in this troop gang, and I appreciate him very much. But all right, don't let me get all choked up here, man. I'm trying to tell you. Let's get back to these comments. Yep, you got to not down. I don't think you need to have Zoom to call. I don't believe. Oh man, hey, don't worry about being shy, man. Look, we just running our mouth. We just family. Hey, this is Factz family, and I want to say that to people. When I say that, I mean that we're Factz family. Because we're showing about the human family. how people of like minds can come together. And if you notice, knock on wood, it's not no bunch of riffraff and the confusion and the live chat and even in people, even in the comments after the shows, it's nut but love. And even if people disagree, they do it, and they do it in a respectful manner. So we all family here. And he said motel. Yep. All right, so we got to get to the Ractivists, aka Tamika D. Mallory. She started off with calling for justice for the Grammys, and when I saw that, I was like, oh, they got big plans for her. And then after that, let's just go through what she said. Said demanding the freedom that this land promised. This was her speech at the Grammys. She said, President Biden, we demand justice, equity, policy, and everything else that freedom encompasses. And to accomplish this, we do not need allies. We need accomplices. It's bigger than black and white. Okay. And then she yelled until freedom. And in the article, they said, and then the other stage protesters marched on yelling until freedom, which just happens to be the name of her social justice organization. Interesting. That's already been accused of capitalizing off of dead black people, including Breonna Taylor. Yeah, and Breonna Taylor, mom gave her that work, as well as Tamir Rice's mother. But let's continue on. Let's look more into the Ractivists. I appreciate that. Arson, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, man. If you get caught up in this mainstream media, it can nudge you into a mind state that is not even of your own. It can have you beat down and thinking the world is a messed up place. But if you turn that stuff off and you actually deal on people on a one-on-one basis, man, it realized that the world is not as bad as places they want you to believe. All right, so she went from the Grammys to the Cadillac. It said BLM activist Tamika Mallory now sells Cadillacs to the black community, ? And she came out with a tweet. She said, there's no comfort in activism. There's a lot of trauma in our movement. There's a lot of misinformation. I will never allow my voice to be used to diminish anyone's pain. However, it is important that we provide truthful clarity, full comment. You know what I'm saying? You can see a full comment. And I wanted to highlight this picture of the crown here. This crown is very important. It's about royalty. We saw the same thing with Little Nas X. He took the crown. And continue on with the article from the last slide. It says, shortly after her Grammy debut, Mallory was seen in a Cadillac commercial as part of their Audacity of Blackness campaign, while the activist only appeared to be expanding her portfolio. To some, many others called out her for allegedly selling out and chasing fame. So this is from her website, Until Freedom. And we always go to this website. And when you click on the donate button here, highlight in red, it takes you to where the red arrow. It says amount, payment, and then look there, secured by Act Blue. Of course, we know Act Blue is a donation collecting mechanism for the Democratic Party. There we have it. Yeah, Mr. Clown, yeah. I would say don't watch too much news. And what I usually do is if I'm going to get into a story, I'll usually get into a story and I'll see it through the end. But when you start taking on these bits and pieces of information, it starts to mess with you. Because that's why I say pay attention to everything. If you're going to pay attention, then pay attention to the whole story, both sides, and then make a sound judgment from having full information. Yeah, Birdman. Yes, yes. Act Blue. Uh-huh. Yeah, Act Blue. So when you're donating money to her, you actually, and you think you're donating to Black Lives Matter and all this, you're actually donating to the Democratic Party. Continuing on. Hey, yeah, go, hey, NE, go and make sure you nominate her for the Grifties. She got a strong case this year. She's been busy. Purple Neck and Bud, I believe Tamika Mallory has a book coming out that Charlamagne the God has been promoting. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. He said me no like blue. Yep. So at the same time while she's promoting for Cadillac, GM has this issue. It says inside the GM plant where nooses and white only signs hung. It says a workplace where people declared bathrooms were white only, where Black supervisors were denounced as boy and ignored by their subordinates, where Black employees were called monkey and told go back to Africa, a workplace where Black employees were warned a white colleague's daddy was in the Ku Klux Klan, where white workers wore shirts with Nazi symbols underneath their coveralls. So she's supporting a company or a corporation. And this article is from CNN, of course, the bastion of all truth. But it's from CNN, and this was back on January 17th, 2019. And you go on to do an ad for them. I mean, this was just a brief search, and I found this article. Nobody pulled your collar, dial limited, pull your collar. Hey, we got to do a story on, GM, they're pretty racist. They got nooses and white only signs on the bathroom. I mean, come on. And it's amazing. Another thing I find is we hear stories about Starbucks and that kind of stuff, but this hardcore racism, nothing. Crickets. You hear about like one time in passing, and then they'll just, suppress it. Which, what I'm saying is, we should know about these things so we don't go spend money with GM. That's the best way to deal with these companies. If they don't appreciate you, don't appreciate them. It says audacity is an interesting word. Yeah, audacity has been popping up a lot lately. It's a hot buzzword. A willingness to take bold risks. Her audacity came in to rude or disrespectful behavior, which she took. Let's see how we can work that. She took a bold risk to, that was perceived as rude and disrespectful behavior. And that's kind of how it came across. Sean M said the media gives both sides just enough info to make them believe opposite side of the narrative. Yep, it's the casting of spells. Dr. You said this isn't the second half of show stuff. This is second half. Second half of joint stuff. That was a good one. All right, Birdman said, okay, I'm just so amazed. This charade has been propagating so hard, so long now. It's a never-ending script of flip paradigm. Deception must have discernment. That's the key thing, discernment. We have to have discernment. Yes, this is insanity. Especially to live in a world where, white-only bathrooms. I can't say, but I wouldn't work at a place like that. But I mean, everybody has to go and make a living. But white only bathroom being called a boy and monkey, nah, that's only so much of that I could take, and I would have to be carried up out of there. Just keeping 100 with you. Nobody needs to be subjected to that kind of behavior. But what we're going to do now is Tamika Mallory, she didn't start off in the Black sector. And we had to realize that. She started off in the feminism sector. And even in that Cadillac commercial, it was for Women's Month. It wasn't for Black History Month. We had to be clear on that. And this is an article from uh, Adam Serwer. And he said, when I was 17, I was scruffy-headed, biracial, black, and Jewish teenager and a furious Louis Farrakhan hater. Interesting. It says in the mid-1990s, Farrakhan, I don't know how you combat hate with hate. But it says in the mid-1990s, Farrakhan's fame and influence was at its height. I had once been thrown out of a middle school gym class for calling the Nation of Islam leader a racist. His Million Man March, a massive collective act of solidarity and perhaps the most important Black event of the decade, had been one of the loneliest days of my life. I sat in the homeroom, one of just a few dozen kids in the school, wondering why so many people hated people like me. And when you say people like me, he's identifying with his Jewish side and not his Black side. See how that works? But I'm just going to point that out. Well, he came hard at the paint on why Tamika Mallory wouldn't condemn Farrakhan. And the subtitle to that is to those outside the Black community, the Nation of Islam persistent appeal, despite its bigotry, can seem incomprehensible. All right, so let's go back to the chat. What's up, Kendra W? That's one of my day ones right there. How you doing? You said, isn't she part of the BLM coven? Well, she's not an official member of BLM, but she kind of grafted herself into that group, and we're getting to why. She was actually one of those members of the women's, what was it? The Women's March. That's what it was. It said the national chair of the Women's March, Tamika Mallory, was present at the National Islam's annual Savers Day event. So she was kind of scuffed up when she had her dealings with Farrakhan, and she wouldn't denounce him. And it goes on to say in late February, where Farrakhan railed against Jews for being the mother and father of apartheid, declared that the Jews have control over other agencies of government, and surmised that Jews have chemically induced homosexuality in Black men through marijuana. So that half a joint, be careful with it. But it says the Nation of Islam continues to produce volumes of propaganda blame Jews for the ills of the world. After the Anti-Defamation League posted a write-up of the event, noting Mallory's presence, Mallory and her colleagues were accused of dismissing concerns of critics on social media who felt they were, if not endorsing anti-Semitism, homophobia, and sexism, failing to publicly rebuke it. Okay, so that's how she got herself into trouble. And that's why she had to go away from the women's movement and kind of work her way back into the Black movement, which she started off as a feminist. Let's just keep it 100. Let's see. Yeah, third wave feminism. Yeah, you're exactly right, Lauren. Jesus says, love you bringing in that theorem a little bit. Without it, you will never truly understand everything. Also, the believer factor, Ephesians 16:12 for life. Yep. Well, Mo, you have said you are a man first, Black second. Yep. Don't blame her for being the same way, but then again, you don't grift, you spread truth. And how can I say this? I understand where you're coming from, Doc. I would never push something that was pro-man that would be harmful to Black people or my people. You see how that works? Now one may be beneficial more for one than the other, and I can't be a hypocrite and get her on for that. But what happens is it's a trade-off. It's like if you stop doing for this group, then we'll give you more bandwidth for this other group. You see, and that's the slippery slope. So I'm glad you pointed that out in the comment. Like I said, we got one of the smartest families on YouTube and in all of podcasting. I appreciate that because I can see how that could be misconstrued that way. But let me be clear. I'm a man first, Black second, because a lot of my biochemistry and thinking comes from my masculine print. standpoint. But I wouldn't say, you know what, if you give me something for men, then I'll be harmful to Black people. And I think that's a trade-off a lot of, not all, we never say all here, but a lot of feminists do. It's like, well, it's a game. We'll paint Black men as the white men of Black people. You'll never hear me say that against, any other group of, ADOS and financial Black people for benefits that I could receive as a man. So hopefully I understand that. Yeah, and of course I'm human first. Yeah, at the end of the day. Yep. So hopefully I explain that. Because what they do is the elite understand they have to drive a wedge, and as I say all the time, it starts with us. As you see now, they're trying to drive a wedge between men and women of all races. And I think, like I said, a lot of feminists, especially Black feminists, buy into, well, it's a game for sisterhood at the expense. And I actually posted a chart on this on Twitter where you saw when, as feminism gained women's jobs, those jobs came from the Black males demographic. You see how that works? All right, so hopefully I explained that, so. I thank you, doctor. But no, thank you for challenging me. And that's what I want. If it's not clear or it sounds like I'm saying, the main thing I don't want to have is hypocrisy. Because here's a secret, don't tell anybody. Our greatest weapon is hypocrisy. When you can point out somebody's being hypocritical, that destabilizes the point they're trying to make. And then it makes people look deeper into them. That's just keep that among us, family. Just keep that among us. All right. So going back to the Women's March. Okay, Women's March replaced 3 original leaders with after anti-Semitism accusation with 16-member board. And this lady right here, Linda Sarsour, the one on the far right with the head wrap, she has said far worse things and have taken pictures with far worse anti-Semitic, if you want to quote unquote anti-Semitic individuals than Louis Farrakhan, but they put the blame on Tamika Mallory. And it says here, co-chair Bobby Bland, Tamika Mallory, and Linda Sarsour stepped down from the board July 5th. So this is how kind of like she got an exodus out of the women's group. And I think what she's going to try to do is try to double back because on the women's side, because to be honest with you, election time is over. The George Floyd case kind of put a nice little punctuation on the Black movement, and it's going to go back to normal. They don't talk to us in non-election years. So. Yes, and that's right, Doc. It is a balance. I mean, and I always say this: men and women are equal, but not the same. It's like a pound of feathers and a pound of stones. They both can serve a purpose. If you need a pillow, pound of feathers. If you need it, rocks to throw at something or to build something, give me the pound of stones, right? So that we are equal, but not the same. And I think what they try to do is they try to make us the same. And really, quiet as kept, who they're really trying to get rid of is women. Women, pay attention, sisters. They trying to get rid of y'all. It's not men. It makes it, and I think somebody pointed that out. They always make it seem like the group they're attacking is the inverse. They're actually trying to get rid of the other group. That's why they're trying to bring in men into women's sports and saying trans men are trans women are real women, that kind of thing. Be careful. Right. I mean, we're a team. It's saying here, Doc. And I'll give you a little anecdote. You're saying just a quick one. My wife went out of town this last week, and I had the kids by myself. And for all the single parents out there, I don't know how in the heck you do it of working and taking care of kids. God bless you. I don't know how you do it. Man, mother housewives, I don't know how you do it. I would much rather go to work than have to do it, because it's such a balancing act. It's like, okay, now I'm a chef, and now I'm a this, and oh, you need buttons on the next shirt. Oh, now I'm a seamstress, and then now oh, the bills got to be paid, and phones ringing. Oh, now I got to be, you know what I'm saying, logistics, and like now back to the culinary arts, and it's like this constant. It's amazing what women that take care of the home do, and it's amazing that a single parent can do all of that. Now, that's not the ideal way. You know where I stand with that's not the ideal way. And I wish anybody that's a single parent can find somebody that compliments them and they can make, have that help there. But just the sheer act of you doing it is hella impressive. And like I said, I learned from this experience. I've taken care of the kids before, but never for like a whole week at a time. Man, whew. But okay, back to the Ractivi. So the black men of media firms saw what was going on with GM, and they put in this ad, and this ad accused GM of being racist with their ad dollars. And it said leaders of 7 major black-owned media companies, including Ebony Cube Vision, ran a full-page ad Sunday in the Detroit Free Press accusing General Motors CEO Mary Barr of being racist for refusing to meet with them to discuss spending more advertising dollars aimed at black consumers. Ad signers include Native, it was Byron Allen, and several other people in there, including Roland Martin. Yeah. So they saw an opportunity to say, well, GM is not spending any money with the black ad agencies. So, or the black advertisers. So they called them out. Let's go see what we got going on in the chat right quick. Oh yeah, you're the nurse. It's like bloody noses, sinuses. Man. Yep, it was wild. Yeah, Byron Allen's that. You know what I'm saying? He made a lot of savvy moves. Now I remember that show too. All right, so it says in response to the ad, GM says it aspires to be one of the most inclusive companies in the world, barring what we saw, what was going on in the GM plant, you know what I'm saying, in the previous slide, and includes how it allocates its advertising expenditures. We have increased our planned spending with both diverse owned and diverse dedicated media across our family brands. Spokesman Patty Morrissey said GM spokesman Patty Morrissey in an email. He did not provide specifics. I mean, Pat, excuse me, I said Patty. So notice this here. Diverse owned. What does that mean? You see these trick words? That could mean, that could be anything that's not heterosexual white male. When they say diverse, it can be anything that's not that. And it's going to get called out. It says, while we were seriously offended by watching you stand on stage after the death of George Floyd, Sigil, you're going to see this a lot now. You're going to hear George Floyd invoked a lot now. And you're going to see him be used as a sigil, as they've done previously, but even after the trial now, you're going to see even more. Saying Black Lives Matter when you have refused to acknowledge us and have constantly over the time and over multiple requests refused to take meetings with the largest Black-owned media companies in America. Mary, the very definition of systemic racism is when you ignore, exclude, and do not have true economic inclusion. Well, a company can run their company as they see fit. And now the reaction you have to that is to boycott that company as you see fit and use your ad powers to make it known that these companies are not supportive. But you don't go and, try to get business. I don't like how that's been done. And Puffy did this as well. It's like they're trying to make the tangible case that we have, claiming we have against the government, and they're trying to use it against corporations to better their business opportunities. And I think that's very disingenuous what they're doing there. It says General Motors spends billions of dollars in advertising and less than 0.5% goes to Black-owned media, not to be confused with Black targeted media. Now there's a difference. Now you can have something that's targeted towards minority or Black people or whatever. I mean, just say minority, because this happens in every minority. It can be owned by another group of people, but target towards that minority. And in this case, we're speaking more about Black owned and Black targeted media. All right, so it says African Americans make up approximately 14% of the population. In America, we spend billions in buying vehicles. So don't spend those billions with GM. That's how you fix them. And take out ads like you did in your paper and say, we will no longer buy a GM because of these reasons, and list it out. That's how you, I want to make it clear. This is how you exact your power on large corporations and structures. Oh, for real? We got 115. I haven't even been paying attention. 115. Man, I think that may be a record. Wow, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's people with 10,000, 20,000 people that don't get 115 people in their chat. Them YouTube numbers be looking funny, but I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna hold it down. Let's see. Bob Dolan said, the odd thing is, I don't know. He was that huge, and I'm just outside of Detroit. Yeah, I mean, it's several Black billionaires that we don't even know of. I mean, but it's basketball players and football players that we do know of. And that goes to show you that the media really controls who we know and don't know. He said, doesn't Floyd have a crown connotation? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just reading through here. What? Santiago said you had like 179 earlier. No, wow. Round of applause for the live chat. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, please hit the like button. And remember, this is the value for value platform. I don't take any YouTube money. I don't have any ad revenue coming from YouTube. I did not get in bed with YouTube/Google. I just use their platform to put out my truth. So if you could, you know what I'm saying, show me some love, show me some value for the value that you receive for this information that I'm putting out. And value comes in many different ways. Share, like, subscribe. Yeah. And I think I might even send out a PDF of these slides as well. I think there's something I can do. Let me work on that. And I might post it on my social media so it can be downloaded. I'm glad you enjoy the H Design. They said these live sessions are great. It would be great to have a regular session weekly about week. I am working on that. I am working on that. Okay. Let's see. It said, let me go back. It said GM's council's meeting between Mary Barr and Black-owned media. So she said she was going to have a meeting with them that she ended up canceling. It says, Mary, you asked us to meet with you, your chief marketing officer, Deborah Wall. I have absolutely no interest in that, because when Deborah was chief marketing officer of McDonald's, in our opinion, Black-owned media was once again severely neglected, minimized, and discriminated against. The ad states, to be clear, Black-owned media and not minority-owned, because minority includes white women. So that's that trick thing when they say minority. And that's what I was saying before about the politician. They do the same thing. They say, well, we have programs for minorities. They'll start off and say, you know what, we need to do more for Black people. So now we're creating programs for minorities. It's like, what? It's like, what did you just do there? You know, like, they'll do that. I mean, just point it out. And of course, they can do what they want to do, but once again, don't come asking me for my vote if you don't have anything for me. I'm just gonna punch that home. It says they do that. They advertise to tout their minority records. It said the group ran a ad a second time in several newspapers. It says Deborah Wall emailed him canceling the original meetings, saying smaller meetings would be scheduled in the coming weeks. Now, this is a trick. And Byron Allen is smart, and he's going to catch on to it. GM said it postponed the meetings due to a growing level of interest and is desire to have substantial conversations regarding its level of advertising through Black media outlets. However, Allen believes the car company is trying to divide and conquer. So this is exactly right. What they'll try to do is have these little small pocket meetings like, hey, well, Ice Cube, we'll throw you a nice little bag, and then they'll get their, advertising up like to 1.5%. But they'll be like, well, we work with the group. Well, they'll only work with certain members of the group. So this, like I said, Byron Allen is a sharp dude. He saw what they were doing with this. Yep. So it says, according to the automaker, it advertised through Black media outlets, including Revolt TV, Urban Radio Networks, Essence Magazine, Urban One, and others. Allen, however, pointed out that not every company GM listed is Black owned. Some are Black targeted. So I just want to point that out. So let's go back to the chat. Yep, trick language, exactly what it is. Oh, okay, social media. Okay, I'm on, I have a TikTok. I don't do anything with it. I have the ones I'm on actively is Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. Those are two that I'm at, and of course, YouTube. I would say follow me on YouTube. I really just post things that I see on Twitter. I don't really do a lot of communicating back and forth. It's just things maybe I want to highlight. I'll post on Twitter. Same thing with Instagram. It's more one directional. But if you hit me in my DMs, I'll have a small chat with you. I do that frequently with people as well. But I'm not really into like going back and forth with people on the the main platform. All right, so getting into I had to go pull Deborah Wall's file. Let's go. Of course, she has in her name her pronouns she, her, and hers. And got to give Deborah Wall she a little woke now. She might be secretly watching Moe Factz with Adam Curry. Meet Claudette Colvin. Her tweet: the first African American woman who refused to give her seat. What happened there? All right, says meet Claudette Colvin, the first African American woman who refused to give up her seat to a white person on a segregated bus. She was 15. Deborah went into the archives there to pull out the Claudette Colvin. Let me see. I'm just reading the chat here. Rick Miller's crazy. He said, what are they asking for? Another Mary J. Blige chicken rats? That was, Mary broke my heart. She was singing her heart out for that chicken sandwich, boy. That broke my heart. Let's see. So Deborah Wall, then she goes to the Barack Obama retweet. It says, everyone has the right to question whether democracy is worth redeeming. It's Dr. Martin Luther King, correct? Going back to the sigil MLK, because it's his face. Because in his face, okay, let me read that again. Because in the face of billy clubs and lynching, poll tax and literacy tests, he never gave in to violence, never waved a treacherous flag, or gave up on our country. Okay. So, she was doing good with Claudette, but then she went to the Obama thing, which, of course, and then she got the Obama with the MLK meme, that's a sigil on a sigil. Interesting. All right, so that's my breakdown of those three things. We got a little bit more time here. If anybody else wants to call in, now is the time. Because I got one more little block. It's called leftovers. Just some things I've seen that I want to comment on. Let's see. All right. So let's give it a little bit more time. Anybody else want to give us a call? Share with us. We had Tiger Auntie come through. I appreciate it. She was the sole caller for tonight. Up until this point. Hopefully we have some more people calling in. I know I don't want to hold you too long. I know people got to get into bed. It is Friday night, so we're hanging a little late. I think Friday nights might work better because, man, I want to be where we can have a good time. You said, can we drop the number again? Let's see. Can we drop the number again? There you go. That's the meeting number, and then you could use that link to find your local number. So yeah, come on, call on in. Thoughts on people who use their pronouns and their profile. It's virtue signaling. I don't see a point in it. Yeah. I just think it's another way to say, oh, I'm woke. Which y'all gonna get a little sneak preview, but I'm gonna start pushing this meme. And this is how we win this battle. We got to use memes ourselves. Tiger Auntie said your analogy of MLK and Greta gave me a deep pause. Yeah. And like they were kind of engaged and activated around the same age as well. But yeah, we have to start using our own memes. And one that I'm gonna start pushing is woke is a drug. Actually, woke is a hell of a drug. It's like when people start getting woke, they're chasing the woke high, and it's like, what can I do to be even more woke? What can I do to be even more woke? Okay, let me put my pronouns in my profile. Let me change my profile to a black square. Let me buy this. Let me buy these T-shirts or bumper stickers, or it's constantly they're just trying to top their last woke high. And so that's a new meme I'm going to start pushing. Is woke is a drug. Woke is a hell of a drug. So let's see if we get some more callers in here. Give it a couple more minutes, and then I'll push through to the last. Wes O said woke not even once. Hey, it's a one-hitter quitter, Wes. Once you get on that woke, Wes. Once you get on that woke, it's a hard kick. Yep, this is your brain on woke. Yep. And he said, go back to sleep. He said they gotta outstupid themselves. And yeah, we've seen in the news stories this week how people have just went overboard with the wokeness. Let me see. Hold on, I got a caller here. 1 second. Let me bring him in. Hello?
Hey, what's good, Mo?
How you doing? Who am I speaking with?
This is Blunder Bliss.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I didn't mean to drop that bad mojo in your chat. I'm of the mindset of like flip it and reverse it and send it back and
Oh no, I was just teasing you. That's all. Can you speak up a little bit? I want to make sure everybody hears you nice and loud.
Oh yeah.
There you go. So which topic you want to talk about? You want to talk about the Little Nike X or the AOC
actually, yeah, the little Nike X, yeah, that whole mischief company. It's one of those sort of like teeny off branching rabbit holes, you know. It's they got all sorts of stuff. They got a black box that they'll send to your house. It's a mystery in there. Like you don't know what the contents are.
Right.
All sorts of bee symbology in one of their stuff. I mean, the whole idea is they got all of these numbered drops, and each one's one of a quote unquote one of a kind, and it's super viral, and you know, it's all just like selling the experience. And for sure, after I get off the phone, I'll email you everything I got on them.
Oh yeah, please do that. Because I mean, what happens is I'll bring it back to the family, and we'll look at it and share what you sent.
I won't keep you too long, just because I'm sure there's other people. But Substack might be something to look into for your show notes, because you can drop all of your pictures and your links in there, and then email it out, or you know, post it, and it'll email to everybody that's subscribed. That's
called Substack?
Yeah, that's what JCD does for his writing.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that. And then, and you know, it's Moe Factz at gmail.com if you want to send me some information on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, before I let you go, I got to ask you, what's your favorite episode so far?
I mean, I'm a big sucker for anything that's got to do with reptilians, whether they're physical or just just a archetype to talk about. I love it. But I will say, episode 61, mark my words, finally gave me the courage to realize what I got to do this year, because I actually work.
Hello? Did it get you? Hello? Hello? I think they got him. I'm going to mute you right quick. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, something happened.
I'm sorry. I got connected to my Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like you said you had to make a decision and you just went out on me. I thought they had. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they finally. No, they just gonna have to make a decision. Walking away from my career of the past 10 years. And I finally, after hearing you and Adam talk about it, finally got okay doing that. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and the thing is, look, if you have to take it, be smart. You know what I'm saying? Do what's best for you. I mean, that's not me. I was just saying what I wanted to do was I could easily say, you know what, I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to stay quiet. And I was like, you know what, maybe my courage or me speaking out would make somebody, at least say, you know what, that's something I maybe need to think about. So I think that's how it worked with you. So I'm glad that you found some value out of that, out of me and Adam discussing that.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm gonna. I appreciate you. Hold on, can you let people know how you called in on your phone, just so they'll know? Because I think this may be I think you're the first person to call in on the phone. So can you give them a little?
So, what you do, you click on the Zoom link that you dropped in the chat.
Right.
Scroll all the way down to the United States. Look for the Washington, D.C. area. That was my guess, because
right.
I think that's what's closest to you. And then there's a little ID number that was sent along with that link, and you're going to punch that number in, press pound, and then press again.
Okay, so you didn't need to download Zoom or anything like that. You did it straight from your phone.
Correct, straight from the phone.
I know you know how to do that, and I'm aware, but I wanted to walk people through that so that people that don't, have Zoom on their computer or just have a phone, they could be able to call in. So I appreciate you doing that for me. Okay.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one. Have a good night. I think we lost Wes. Hopefully Wes calls back. You guys, you guys are cracking me up with this woke-cane. We got dropping woke out of planes. Let's see, what was another one? What was it? The woke police. Woke is a joke. Just say no to woke. Yep, based is greater than woke. Woke kills. Yeah, so woke is a drug, and that may seem like a joke, but it's not. It's because it's a high. They're chasing a high. I think somebody was saying, matter of fact, let me go grab that comment right quick. I saw it when I was scrolling. It was Carlton Way One. He says, Moe Factz, is there a connection between the people who post their I voted stickers, vaccine cards, and the Democratic Party? Well, all those are virtue signals. The vaccine card, hey, I'm a listener, I'll follow the instructions, or I went and voted, I did my part, that kind of thing. If you voted, you don't need to advertise it. I mean, you can, it's your choice, but I think people use those as symbols and signs to say, hey, tote the woke. That's a good one too. Tote the woke. Okay. Man, I have had a ball tonight with you all, and now it's time to get into the leftovers. Just some quick things. Leftovers is things that I've saw or things I want to comment, and they're not really, they're like kind of little tidbits of things I may want to comment on. And this says, just listen this afternoon. This is from my YouTube comments. And yeah, I do go grab YouTube comments, and they don't necessarily have to be negative for me to highlight them. It may be something profound that somebody says. So please comment in the YouTube. And I'll say this, even if you listen to it elsewhere, please come to the YouTube channel and post your comments there. What that does is when you share from YouTube and you post comments, it gets it out into the suggestions loop, and we bring more people into the family that way. So please, I know you may listen to your podcast or whatever like that, but please just stop by, give us a like, just leave a comment, and it definitely helps spread the channel. Because the funny thing is, there's some people, the only way they get the podcast is through YouTube. So some people use, it's amazing how we have these different pockets in the family. Yeah. All right. So just leftovers. if somebody left a comment, no need to say names or anything like that. It's just, I want to address it more of the topic. It said, just start listening this afternoon. I just can't get on board with the anti-vaccine. No, actually, this was Instagram. I said, can't get on board with the anti-vaccine conspiracy stuff. And I said, I said anti-vaccine ? And she said, I haven't listened to the whole episode yet, but I know big pharma and other conspiracy theories are things in the US. So perhaps that's what it is. Perhaps you are just very skeptical about the vaccine rather than anti. I say, yes, I am very skeptical I'm very skeptical. I think I'm put about experimental products. I think a person should have the right to decide what is best for themselves without being shamed, no matter which way they decide. I appreciate your honesty and open mind. So any feedback is good feedback. Just let me know what you took away from it. And then she said, thanks. That's why I've been listening to your show and always interested. It's always interesting hearing how other people see things. So we see. Okay. Let me see. 206. How you doing?
Hey, Mo.
Hey, can you turn me down your background a little bit? And who am I speaking with?
Oh, I turned it off.
No,
I turned it off. It's Wes.
Okay.
How you doing?
Okay, how you doing, Wes?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I am blessed. I am blessed.
Yeah. Hey, I just watching your show. I appreciate it. I don't usually catch it live, so this is awesome. And I see that you're talking a lot about the woke stuff, and I was just thinking because I've been reading a lot of stuff like Tragedy and Hope, Edward Bernays' propaganda. There's a great documentary called Minds of Men by True Stream Media. Anyways, is it
available? If it's available to the public, can you put it in my in the comments to this video later once it posts to YouTube?
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it because I want people to get. I don't want to be the only conduit for information. So if you
No.
just share it in the comments with each other, that's great. That goes for anybody. Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I can do that. And then on the No Agenda show, was it yesterday? They're talking about mass hysteria and how this woke stuff is kind of the mass hysteria. It's like a mind virus.
Yes.
And people, they get hooked on it and they just kind of go crazy about it.
Yeah, and that's kind of goes back to Nocebo effect, right? That's one of the shows that we did.
Yeah, Nocebo. Yeah,
is kind of how it gets out of control and it just spreads. And that's a great point, Wes.
Hey, I just gotta say, man, I appreciate you. I thought I knew things, and then after, because of No Agenda, started listening to Moe Factz, and I didn't know anything. And you have opened up a whole new world to me, and I appreciate that. And I feel like my ignorance is leaving me. And there's just I started, I think, around like Prop Joe, which was fantastic. And I love that you keep playing that Trick Baby stuff. I got to go find that movie. And and so I started at episode 1, and it's taking me 2 months, but I'm finally caught up.
Mm-hmm.
And holy cow, man. Like, it's a catalog of so many things that if people were to listen, they could start making all these connections, and all of a sudden what might be conspiracy is like right there before them. Like it's out in the open, and we're just not paying attention.
That's the catchphrase, right? Pay attention to everything and the truth reveal itself. Yeah. And it's a Carlos, I'm coming to you. What I want to say is that by paying, you said ignorance, and the key word in ignorance is just ignore. Like, a lot of things we just ignore and are oblivious to, but it has an effect on us. And that goes back to what we were saying about sigils. It goes past our conscious mind and go into our subconscious. And then these things start to bother us, and we don't even know where it's coming from. So I'm glad.
Well, that was just it.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, thank you for saying that, because I started thinking a little bit more about that, and I'm always uncomfortable with like certain TikTok things or meme things. And I got a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, and I'm always, when they show me stuff, like, I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny, but there's this uncomfortableness. Like, there's something weird about this. Mm-hmm. And when you were talking about the sigil and all, I was like, oh, there's something in my conscience that's telling me, like, you can call it the Holy Spirit or whatever. Something's telling me like, this ain't right.
It's
you need to pay more attention to this.
It's like it give me the willies.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm glad you called.
Anyways, man, I know you got other callers. Yeah.
But I appreciate you calling in, and you've been very busy in the live chat, man. I'm glad you rolled with us all the way through the whole show. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's fun. So thanks.
All right, have a good night.
You too, man. Bye.
All right. And that's the key thing with ignorance, is just that it's, you ignore it, but it still has an effect on you. I mean, and the reason why I'm aware of this is I actively not watch the news, but the fact that my wife would have it on in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, it would be certain things that would just trigger me. And I'm just like, and I would kind of be like, I'm talking to y'all now, talking to the TV. It's like, that's bull crap right there. That's not right. That kind of thing. So just wanted to bring that up. I'm glad Wes called in. I think Carlos was calling. Please call back, Carlos. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to get it done with Wes. Just going to get through these last few leftovers and we'll get up out of here. All right. So this next person says, and I'm not going to say, it says New Ageism, which is Luciferianism, is as being compatible with Christianity and on par with Christian prayer, is very Baphomet thing to do as well. You're the Tyler Perry of podcasting. And let me say one thing. A lot of times when you post things on YouTube, I don't get to see the comment. It'll be in my feed, just like this case was. But when I go to the video or the comment, I don't know if that person deleted it or if it's just YouTube doesn't post it through there. But I actually snagged this, and he said, you're the Tyler Perry of podcasting. And then he says, what did he say? Oh, I mean, he posted it twice, actually. That's why it's there. One, I don't validate anybody's anything. my recognition that yes, I believe that we do have chakras. I think that's something like an antenna that when the Most High made us, these are things that, are just part of our being. I don't think it's bad nor good, but I think they could be used for bad and or good. So just me, and I didn't validate anything. I want to make that clear, and that's why I put up the definition of validate versus acknowledge. I didn't co-sign anything. I just acknowledged that, oh, that's your belief. Well, okay, we can have some what's the word I'm looking for? We can both acknowledge some things are true without being simpatico or me validating another person's belief. And that's not what I'm there to do. I'm not here to validate anybody's belief. I'm here to share with you what I believe. And and I acknowledge what you believe, and that's it. So it's and Lauren, new agey, but and Unpluggable says this a lot. He says that the devil, the dark one, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, he's a biter, he's an imitator. All he did was just take the knowledge from the right hand side and just invert it to the left hand side. So I just want to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't validate anything, and you know how the rules of the show go, or any time I deal with anybody on any platform, I seek first to understand, then to be understood. That's one of the 7 habits. So for me to understand the person, I had to see where they're coming from. So I just want to share that. I thought that was a great, opportunity for me to address that. It's no hard feelings against the person that was the commenter. I mean, because we all have our own take on things. But I have to, just bring some clarity to how I see things. And he said chakras are a super old concept. Yeah, and like I said, I just think they're part of our spiritual being and like antennas, right? He is a trickster. But yeah, I think they're just antennas that pick up frequencies. Now you can have dark frequencies or you can have positive frequencies. So, all right. So this was what I found funny, and then maybe if you follow me on Twitter, you saw this one. This this nose only mask. You gotta be kidding me. And I said on my tweet, and like I said, my tweets are more like snarky, just jokes or pointing out like the obvious or hypocrisy. And I said, does the new nose only COVID mask come in red? So this was actually a thing. It was a mask. Yeah, it was a mask that covers only your nose. So when you take off your other mask, you can drink and eat, but while your nose is still covered. And it says this is a New York Post. Yeah. It said researchers in Mexico have sniffed out a new COVID-19 mask designed for people to wear only over their schnozzes while they eat, according to the report Wednesday. The nose mask worn under a full mask with a similar behind the ear strap were unveiled in a demonstration video where a man and a woman sit down for lunch, according to Reuters. In the video, the pair takes off the mask, their normal mask to reveal their nose-only gear before chowing down at the table. Some observers cheered the idea on Twitter, saying that it would reduce transmission, while others poke fun at its goofy look. Yeah, right. So in the theme of the show, the mask is a sigil, right? We know that it's a piece of cloth. And that's all I'm going to say. So I want to keep my channel. But we know, what it is. But it's just like, come on. A nose-only mask? Man, you got to be kidding me. I thought that was funny. He said, okay, H Designer said, those in power are laughing at the stupidity of the population. They could push anything, right? And it's kind of like, what else can we make them do? It's like, yeah, wear 4 of them. No, wear 3. No, take it off, put it on. That it's kind of like, how can we pull that chain and see, like, jump, dance, that kind of thing. It's funny. Let's see. Bebop said, I mean, I'm not in power and I'm laughing. Right, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. All right, and I had to cover this one. This is when Chrissy Teigen left Twitter. And I said, gone but not forgotten. And I put the pizza in the hot dog. More sigils. We know what the pizza and the hot dog stand for. And if you don't, you wasn't around YouTube or Twitter in 2015 to 2016. And that would definitely get you shut down if I talk about it on this platform. But we all know about the P-gate, you know what I'm saying, situation. But anyway, I just had a couple of tweets, and this is the thing. It's right, and this is what Wes was saying about the ignorance. We got to look at words, and if you please go check out Unplugum's spelling spells. I got to get him to come talk about this kind of stuff because the brother is so deep. But this is the kind of ignorance or ignorance, as we like to call it. We see these things right out in public, and nobody questions them. One of her tweets said, and I don't like reading these things. God bless me. It says, seeing little G's do the splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail. She actually tweeted this. Oh, well, she's more than twisted. There's a lot going on with that one. Next tweet. Actually went into the Seas Aquarium looking pretty pea-bearish, cruising the parking lot. I don't even want to say these things because, look, I don't even feel comfortable saying them, but she posted them on her platform to be seen. And then it said, I just saw a BABY that looked like a P-star, like a trashy, do anything P-star. Is this wrong to think? And this person is still on Twitter. They cancel people for less, and they posted this, and then she has this picture over here, topless with her son. And like I said, I had enough respect to cover her son picture up. And she says, "Please move. Mommy is trying to be thirsty." Wow. And this is okay. Sean M said the spell is real. Yes, it is real. There's something kind of magic spelling and making sounds regardless of how it's spelled. Yeah. And one thing he does, it says verbs are interchangeable. So when we talked about Medea I think on 61 or 62, I'm losing track now. The one we talked about, the mark my word, we talked about Medea, and if vowels are interchangeable, then it also could spell media. Just a little nugget there. But yeah, how does this person stay on Twitter and voluntarily leave? Come on, man, it's something sick going on. All right, so this is your last chance to get your thoughts in. Please let me make sure. Let me see. I post the number again. Anybody that might want to call in. There's a number. Right, and yeah. Right, P. Yeah, please help the children. Pray for the children. Cause and I'm gonna go back to the border for a minute. I mean, you know what? Let me go ahead and wrap up. You know what I'm saying? My final thoughts. Let me see. Let me wrap up my final thoughts. I'm glad you brought that up. Please pray for the children. These children here, there was a lot of hate that came for Little Nas X, but that's a very, very young man. Very young man, almost a child. Same thing with FKA Twig, child star. Same thing with Hannah Montana, child star. I think even Shia LaBeouf was a child star or close to it. So this is what they do with the children, and this is why I was posting here the hush, right? This is what the Church of Satan said, hush, hush. Look at the Hannah Montana, to be quiet. It's a secret thing going on. Yeah, MK adults, MK their kids, yeah. It's something very sick going on in this world, and it all ties in together. Because I'm going to say this, not all, but there is some funny business going on that border with children and women being trafficked. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it in the mainstream media. There are things that are called RAPE trees. Definitely, yeah, there's definitely something going on here. This is surface level stuff when they talk about the immigration and things of that nature. There's a very sinister undertone to what's going on at the border, and any person that's brought into a form of bondage, we have to keep an eye out for that. And finally, with the Ractivists, let me go over here before I continue on. Lauren said it's generational. Anagenesis said MK ultra victims. Yeah, and that's what we have to remember. These people are victims. Now, some were adults and signed up for it, and it is what it is. But a lot of these people are victims, and they were children when they were brought into this way of living. Let's see. Sean M said they've always been after kids. Every Disney princess movie is about magic. That's true. And a lot of Disney stuff is very occultic. Yes, she confirmed Shia was a child star. Yes, I thought so. I remember him from earlier movies. West says there was like 150 sub-projects on the MK Ultra. And yeah, it didn't end. A lot of times these things go to corporate level. I mean, go into corporations and go away from the military and letter agencies. Yeah, West says most we don't know about. Our song 1 says the father is out of the picture in the Disney movies and made out to be dumb. Yes. Well, both parents are made to be dumb, and the father is the dumbest of the two parents and adults. Let's see. Yep, it's modern day slavery. Yes, there is definitely slavery going on in this country and in this world still. All right. And finally on Ractivists, you see, like I said, all this stuff feeds back into the same system. It's just different gateways into the same mind control. So just be aware of what's really going on. And I want to say this before we close. I want to thank everybody. You could have been anywhere this tonight, but you spent your last almost 3 hours with me. And some of you have been here from opening bell to closing bell, and I appreciate that. Your kind words, the value that you send, the letters, the stories, the fact that you find me credible enough to share with your family and friends, that I would do this if it was 10 people here, to be honest with you. I feel like this is part of what my life is meant to be. I found my voice. I always had a voice when I talk to people individually. I would do this same kind of thing at lunch tables, at work, and whatnot. But honestly, truly, I'm glad that you spent your time with me. There's currently still 100 watching, 117 likes, 1 dislike. You can't please everybody. I appreciate that very much, man. I really do. And with that said, like I always say, pay attention to everything and the truth will reveal itself. Good night.